and welcome back to Tangle Tower for possibly the last time. Are you guys ready?
Woo!
Oh boy. Actually, beforehand, before we even go down, we got one more thing to do. We have to go.
Let's not wander off right now.
Oh, the game's not letting us. Alright then, fine. We're going down. I think we're in endgame territory. We are, because it's not letting us. Hello.
Hey, that
It's an old coat rack. Looks thoroughly neglected.
Yes, and
that one item to the right, it has a red thread on it, or possibly a red
it
rope.
does. I'm more focused on this because a character in the last game wore this exact outfit, a yellow poncho with a green cap.
So it's probably just one of those Easter eggs, huh?
Oh no,
Or-
he was our murderer.
Huh.
He murdered Lord Remington, the brother of Flora Remington.
Ooh.
Yeah.
2 cloaks, and a green hat draped on top for good measure.
Curiouser and curiouser. But let's look at this.
We're too late. This photograph has been stabbed.
Why? By what?
Not sure. Some kind of metal stabbing thingy.
A metal
Metal
rod.
rod.
A sleek and sturdy metal rod has been stabbed into a photograph. The rod is curved and pointed tipped like an arrow or a hand on a clock. It has a small loop at the back with a short length of red rope connected to it. The metal is perfectly clean and polished.
So what's the photo?
Oh.
It's
Damaged
been
photo.
It's been framed and slightly damp. The photo shows a young girl. A large man is next to her. Around them are several red and white birds. A metal object was stabbed into the photo, leaving a hole near the man's chest. Look familiar to you?
Kinda, yeah.
The ink dip bird?
Yeah, I know about the burp.
That must be Flora.
Yeah.
And this might be her father, because it somewhat looks very reminiscent to those figures we had found in Felix's room. Also, I just noticed we have a second search it thing now. Interesting.
Do you know who it is? In the photo?
Oh yes, I do. But before then, we got a lot of things to look at in this room.
A single book on a little makeshift table.
This is creeping me out slightly.
Why?
I think it's a children's book.
Oh,
Ooh.
go for it, Nico.
Let's see, children's book. Mistids of the Sea and Sky. A children's picture book. It looks very old. The ink dip. An elegant bird with red and white plumage. The silver snake. An aquatic reptile with no eyes and a long tongue. The soul bearer. A crab with 3 differently sized claws. The amphibie. A frog-like creature walking on 2 legs.
So, the ink dip bird was here. The amphibie was in the last game. The soul bearer is the little contraption we have. And that silver snake was the stone thing at the garden.
So it's not a Neil.
It's a snake.
A
Oh, an
silver
aquatic
snake.
reptile. Anything else?
There's a roll of paper up there.
I'll see if I can reach it.
Let me guess. Blank.
So you guessed wrong.
Ooh, Misted Mansion. And this was before the towers were put on.
Yeah. Because there's the rooftop garden. The aviary.
It's the room above us. The one we were just in.
The laboratory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, so there's the library, the one that Fifi's currently in. The storage, I believe, was,
Freya's room.
yeah, Freya. Yeah, that would make sense, because it looks like just a bunch of pipes and shit were in there. The bedroom to the right, that was,
Felix's
Fifi's room.
Oh no, Fifi's? Right,
Yeah,
because Felix's room was on the rooftop garden.
Yeah, then there's the study.
Study?
We went in there, right? Study.
No.
I don't
we
remember
never-
that room.
Study. Wait.
I know what you're thinking. And no, we never went in there.
How did we miss it?
Huh. Then there's the grand hall. There's the bedroom on the right side. I believe that is
That's-
the one that...
Penelope.
Yeah, that's Penelope's room. And the aviary to the right is just a giant birdcage, which Penelope spends a lot of her time in. The music room obviously belongs to Poppy. And next to the rooftop gardens would have been Fitz's and Pop.
Yeah,
Wait, what's-
they built up. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
I can't remember. Was the music room Poppy's room, or was Poppy's room...
No, she had her own bedroom right at the rooftop garden. So Fitz's
Yeah,
room
that-
was right here, and then Poppy's room was right here.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember correctly. Huh, but interesting.
Misted Mansion. North side cross-section. Is it not Tangle Tower?
Tangle Tower. Before the towers?
That's the room we're in now. It must be. It's not labeled as anything on these plans, though.
I think it already existed when this was made.
So the water was that low, so this whole entire island was man-made?
Hmm.
So, the whole house is built on top of some kind of platform.
Apparently. This seems pretty significant.
Agreed.
Yeah, there we go. It's listed everything.
Yep. Building plan. Misted Mansion, north side cross-section. A roll of parchment on which the plans for a grand mansion have been drawn. A horizontal line marks where the lake was before, and a second marks where it is now. The mansion has been built on top of a large structure above the lake, supported by pillars. Freya's room is listed as storage. A room labeled study is in the center.
Now, one final thing.
Basements don't normally have windows?
We're at the bottom of the lake. We must be.
Right. But if that's the lake bed, why does it look like that?
Like what?
White, smooth, no plants, no anything. That's not what a lake looks like.
Where are we?
A lot of questions now coming. All right, let's do this finally. What do we want to do first? Talk about the lake or the photograph?
The lake.
Did you notice how much light this room has? For a room with one candle?
It's all coming through the window.
I'm pretty sure lakes are supposed to be darker at the bottom, not lighter.
Why is there a room down here anyway? And why is it so much older than the rest of Tangle Tower?
We still don't really know why people came to live here in the first place.
Maybe they just wanted to get rich, like Pointer with his beetles.
I feel like the Remingtons came here for the lake, for what was in it.
It's
Yep.
empty though. More empty than a normal lake would be.
It is now, yeah. Maybe we're too late.
Oof.
Hmm.
That is a good point.
This man in the photo, he reminds me of something from one of our clues.
As I pointed out, the painted models.
Felix made a little model of him for Flora.
Yeah, it makes sense when you know who he is.
Lord Remington.
Lord Remington.
Remington. That makes him Flora's father, meaning the girl in the photo is...
Yeah, it's her. See the bird too.
I never would have guessed. Times sure do change.
I don't know. I don't think she looks so different.
Well, in the photo, she smiles more.
Let's head back up to the Grand Hall. I want to find that last room.
Let's go.
So do I.
Oh, ho, 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 ho.
It's dark all of a sudden.
How long were we down there?
Alright.
This
Let's finish
must
this.
be it. This thing.
How are we supposed to get up there?
Hang on. It's pitch black. But I think there's a switch. A ladder.
Want to go up?
The hidden heart.
Whoa.
Well,
The
we found
creatures
all
aren't
those.
here.
I think these are real, hun. I think we found our 2 missing creatures from the, the
Yeah, the silver
Children's
snake
book.
is on the ceiling. The
Dragon?
crustacean.
the crustaceans over here. You're right. Sorry.
And also
just-
the fish with the horn in the middle. There was also a small picture of that. I don't quite remember the bird with the beak, unless that's supposed to be the ink dip.
I'm not sure.
If that's the ink dip, that's a big head.
Snake?
Worm?
That's the one.
And there's another werewolf.
You know, in any normal room, this thing would be my main concern. In here, though, it barely makes the top 3. Is that a crab?
It's got a translucent exoskeleton. You can actually see its insides.
Also, crabs normally have 2 claws, right? Not 3?
Oh, we can
Yeah.
move it.
You sure we should be touching it?
Grimoire, don't you think it looks familiar?
Oh, okay. I think
This
I know.
crab really reminds me of something.
Yes, it does, but I need a refresher on
That
what it
little
looks
wooden
like.
toy we found?
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to help us. I think I've seen it more recently.
Or not the book, but or the crab thing. This. What does it look like here? Okay,
A clock?
I'm gonna take a picture.
Let's see. It could be like a clock. It's got 3 hands.
I think that's what we're supposed to make the arms look like. So
Is that a
we,
crab?
It's got a
Also, crabs.
so this is a little bit more pointed upward. It's closed. This is a little bit more to here, and it's open.
It's wide open.
And then we just bend this over here and open it. And I think we got it.
Perfect.
Oh shit! Okay, before we click on that, maybe we should see some other things, I think.
Yes,
I'm going too
'cause I-
fast!
Yeah, let's see. There's the fish with the unicorn horn.
Some kind of fish and a bird skull, I guess?
If that's a bird skull, we're talking about a 15-foot bird here.
Well, how about we stop talking about it?
I agree.
A centipede.
Centipede? Millipede? How many
No, that's-
legs has it got?
Too many.
No, that's definitely a that's centipede. That millipedes don't have those segments. Meanwhile, a centipede does. Then there's the right side of the room. There's the weapons on the wall.
An axe and some kind of hunting rifle mounted on the wall.
Honestly, doesn't look like they've been moved in a few years.
I'm more worried about the third one.
The third one?
The one that isn't there.
Yeah, we found that.
Yeah, you went a little ahead of there, didn't you? Let's see. There's the chair and the table full of wine.
Coffee table, half-empty wine bottle, lamp left on, I'm gonna say someone's been using this room.
Someone complacent enough to leave their notebook lying around.
Ooh. Huh? Let's see. Notebook. Several pages have been ripped out, but a few remain. Fifth ambassador located. Finally. Can't say I harbored any optimism, but still somehow disappointed. No better than the rest of them. Took my misted friend into the music room for experiments. It worked. Perhaps too well. The laboratory was another disappointment. All that effort for what? He's even more short-sighted than I could have guessed. Went to the bottom. Nice view. It's been mostly cleaned out, but I have what I need. She got in. She was careful. Nothing was moved. But I know. It's time.
I'm curious about this door.
True, yeah.
An incinerator built into the wall.
An incinerator?
It's still pretty hot.
Is there anything left inside?
It's mostly ashes. But yeah, there's something.
The bird! The bird feather!
The bird feather. Then there's buttons and some kind of red cloth. Let's see, burnt items. Not much more than a pile of dust and ash. Among the ashes are several black buttons. Red colored scraps of fabric are still visible.
And they don't even mention the bird feather. What the hell? Okay.
Now, I'm guessing the billboard in the middle.
I want to check this out first, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Because if I remember right from... where was it? I forget. Oopsie. From Freya's diary, it said, I saw them all 5, eyes blacked out. So she found the study, from what it looks like.
Huh.
And she found this.
Who are all the people in this photo?
Not sure, but it looks like someone didn't like them very much. Their eyes have all been crossed out.
Ooh.
Oh shit! That's the brother! That's the guy that died in the last game!
Group photo. A photograph in a sturdy wooden frame. It's dusty and looks several years old. A brass plaque at the base of the frame reads, The Ambassadors of Misted Mansion. Ooh. The photo shows 2 women and 3 men, wearing a variety of different styles of clothing. All 5 people have had their faces crudely covered in black ink. Wow.
Holy shit. Do any of them look familiar to you? Besides, well, I've already pointed out, this is the guy that died in the last game.
Well, the one on the far right looks like Flora's dad.
Kinda, yeah.
The one in red, that I mean. The one on the furthest left looks very similar to Poppy before she changed her look.
I agree.
But it
The other
just
two.
looks very familiar, though.
No idea.
I'm not quite sure about those 2 now.
That photo is important. I'm sure of it.
Well, let's talk about that later. Let's find everything first. We have this last thing right here.
It's a wooden pinboard, hung up on one of the chains.
Looks like there's a couple of things missing from it.
Oh. Oh. Hey, it's Hawkshaw.
A large central sheet of paper has been pinned onto it. 4 lines have been drawn from the gap of the center. A small sheet underneath features a drawing resembling the silhouette of a cloaked figure.
Someone's been using this room.
Yeah.
What's this?
Something somebody didn't want us to find.
The crossbow.
Yeah.
Okay then. I think that's everything.
What is is it?
All right.
Do we want to put the pin board together, if it's possible?
I think that would be the study. Do we want to do that first or last? Because we have the 5 people and the weapon.
Yeah, let's try the study then.
Study first?
Yeah, because I kind of want to put all the papers onto that pin board.
Okay, let's see if it works.
I don't get it. This room is in the original building plans for the mansion, but nowadays it's some big secret?
It's not a secret to everybody. At least one other person still knows about this room.
The way the notebook was left out on the table makes me think it's someone who has the room all to themselves.
Whoever it was, they left more than just the notebook. There's a whole design project on this pinboard. Feels like someone put quite a bit of effort into it.
It's a shame there are things missing from it. I'm betting it'd make more sense if we could see it all together.
That might not be impossible, you know.
Oh,
Yes, please, let's put it together. It's bothering me.
okay. You ready for this? Because I know the answers. I'm about to blow your
Yeah.
mind.
This one I know for sure, at least. But this one, I'm confused about. Oh! Whoa. I completely forgot about this picture.
Yep, Freya's
Painting
painting.
from Freya's room, and those sketches. Did Freya design Detective Hawkshaw's clothes? What kind of sense does that make?
I don't think that's why Freya made that painting, but it may have been why somebody took a photo of it to use as reference. And as for those sketches of Hawkshaw, I don't think Freya actually drew them. It was somebody else, someone with less of a talent for art.
Doesn't exactly narrow it down. Should we go ask Detective Hawkshaw about all this?
I'm not sure. I still don't know what's really going on.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Next, the 5 people.
Another photograph.
Their faces are all crossed out with some kind of black ink.
That's weird.
Oh, you think so?
No, I mean, something I just realized. Sally, did we meet any of these people here
Yeah.
at Tangle Tower?
No, not that.
Well,
no.
the woman on the left looks a little like Poppy, but her style is way different. And at first I thought the guy on the top right was Felix, but now that I look at it, I don't think it is him.
Was someone trying to hide it? From us?
I don't know, but it looks incomplete to me. I want to know what happened to the rest of it. Where are the other parts?
You have it.
We found them all.
We found them already.
So we have metal rod, that little telescope that Detective Hawkshaw had hidden,
Oh, I didn't notice the blue bottom of that.
and the reel.
That wasn't a
What do you make of
telescope.
it?
Not
That-
sure.
It is a telescope.
Open mind.
You don't think the crossbow is the murder weapon?
Oh no, the crossbow is definitely the murder weapon. But that doesn't mean we've solved the mystery.
It's not a telescope, it's a crosshair.
And now it's time for the final chapter, everyone. Are you ready
I
It's
am
time.
ready.
for the murder?
Time
Actually,
to
what's
solve
downstairs?
this.
Oh, that's how you got
no,
up there.
that's how
never
we
mind.
got up.
Oh, never mind, me stupid.
All right, break out the notebook. Time to put it all together.
Let's start with this. It's an arrow for the crossbow, and it matches Freya's wound. It's the murder weapon. I'm sure of it.
Despite the fact it doesn't have any blood on it, and it wasn't found anywhere near the crime scene.
Mm-hmm. It was cleaned, then it was hidden. I don't think anybody expected us to get down to that room at the bottom of the lake.
Okay, so Freya was shot by a crossbow. Where was it fired from?
From above.
From above.
It was fired from above Freya.
Above, huh?
Yeah, our diagram doesn't show everything. Let's add in the rest of the crime scene.
The attic.
Perfect hiding place. We even found a part of the murder weapon up there. The reel was used to pull the arrow back up through the crack in the floorboards.
Explains why we never found a weapon at the crime scene, I guess.
The murderer must have dropped the reel in the attic. I'm guessing they were in a hurry to escape.
Wait. The arrow was fired through the crack in the floorboards?
Yeah, it's directly above where Freya was found lying on her back.
Nope. Doesn't add up. It would have missed her
Huh?
if she was still standing up by the painting.
Ah,
Yes.
right.
Unless...
Freya was already lying on her back.
Freya was already lying on her back before the arrow was fired.
I think so too.
But why?
She had fallen unconscious.
She'd fallen unconscious.
Something in the room caused Freya to fall unconscious.
What do you think? What makes sense?
I'm thinking the gramophone, maybe.
The gramophone.
Right.
But the gramophone by itself can't do that.
It was the music being played,
You sure?
or could be something in the. Wait, really?
The music that was playing was the piano music that Poppy gave. That was already given because it was put in. We found it in the gramophone.
Yeah. Which
So
is
it
why I
had to
think.
be.
Which is why I thought it would be the music. But what was in the gramophone that could have knocked her out?
There was something in the gramophone.
Mm-hmm. Something small.
Huh? This part I'm missing.
Okay. It had to be something small that could fit into a gramophone. And we have it in our evidence to prove that it was in the gramophone. Are you ready for your mind to be blown?
Well, I don't have one to be blown to begin with, but yeah. Wait.
It fends off predators with a loud hiss recorded over 95 decibels.
Huh.
Pointer's research says it can emit an incredibly loud hiss when it feels threatened. Poppy and Fitz both said they heard a loud noise around the time of the murder. Neither of them had any idea what it was.
This seems a little far-fetched. Is it really loud enough to knock someone out?
No, I don't think so, not by itself. But don't forget, it was being amplified by the shape of the gramophone. Now, I don't think we're purely talking about volume either. It might just be a particular type of frequency.
This is getting kinda scientific. Since when do you know anything about the effects of weaponized audio frequency?
I don't, but I think someone else does. Do you remember that statue we found in the music room? The horn it's playing. It's a pretty similar shape to the one on the gramophone. That broken glass isn't there on accident. This is someone's science experiment.
Thinking about it, Pointer said he saw Flora was knocked out too. I guess they were both in range of the noise, although Pointer might have been lying.
Personally, I think he was telling the truth about that. It's pretty clear a powerful frequency did pass through Flora's tower. Caused quite a bit of damage too.
It did. Gramophone's cracked. This was cracked.
Those cracks didn't appear out of nowhere. Freya's paints, the pink cassette tape, and the gramophone itself, they all sustained similar damage while they were in that room.
That's some seriously powerful vibration, enough to crack metal, enough to knock someone out all the way across a room.
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't get. If the frequency was so powerful and had such a big range, how did the murderer pull it off? Wouldn't they have been in range too? Think about it. They can't have been much
headphones.
further away from the gramophone than Flora was.
They protected themselves.
They protected themselves.
How?
You're
The
right.
earmuffs.
These are some pretty heavy-duty earmuffs. I think they'd be enough to block out the sound.
Right. Let's go over everything from the start. 1. Freya is painting Flora's portrait. They're listening to music on the gramophone.
2. The murderer is hiding in the attic, wearing earmuffs.
3. The golden beetle starts to emit its hissing noise.
Hold on. How did it know?
The beetle?
Yeah, what triggered it at that particular moment? Pointer's research said it makes the noise when it feels threatened.
I'm not sure. Maybe something in the music?
Maybe.
4. Freya and Flora are both knocked unconscious by the vibrations. Freya lands on her back. She drops the brush and palette by her side.
5. The murderer fires the crossbow directly downwards.
6. The arrow is pulled back up on the reel.
7. The murderer leaves the attic, presumably.
8. The door is kicked down. Fitz and Poppy enter the room.
That's it.
Hmm.
There's something bothering me.
What?
I just want to check something. Let's go back to the crime scene.
Okay.
Yeah, who could have fucking done it?
So what's up, Sally?
Hmm.
Oh. We're gonna look at the painting again?
The answer is in the painting. I'm sure of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Whatever it
The
is,
answer's in the painting.
whatever it is, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it right now, so...
Well, compare the painting now to what is in the back, what's here now. Flora's not here, obviously, but there's something... I think there's something missing. And then...
The second pot?
Yeah. What happened to it? And then, of course...
Freya, did you leave us a clue?
She prepared all her paints ahead of time.
Yeah.
She never used the yellow paint in her painting.
Oh.
Well, maybe she used it a little bit on the background, but she made enough to use, so where else was that yellow gonna go if there was still some left over?
My guess would be the beetle.
The beetle? But it's not... Are you sure it's even in the picture? It was
Well, I
in
don't
the
see-
gramophone.
Yeah, it was in the ground phone, but what else could be gold if it's not the beetle? Could be something else.
Okay, it's just... Okay, well, they're confused about it, too. I think...
So
They're
what's
onto it.
bothering you?
Something that's not here. The thing we didn't find. We know she was holding it during the painting.
Flora's
Feather?
ink dip feather?
It was
Oh.
here, in this room. Where'd it go?
We found it
Yeah, you
somewhere
found it
else.
somewhere
Found
else.
it somewhere else. We were a little too late to save it.
So it was stolen from the crime scene, and ended up in the incinerator down in the study.
Someone wanted to destroy it, I guess.
But how? How was it stolen from up here in Flora's tower?
Presumably, Flora dropped it when she fell unconscious.
Yeah, and then what? The murderer couldn't have stolen it if they were up in the attic.
So the question is, how could they steal something from a room they weren't able to access? The final clue about the crime scene. Freya left it for us right here.
It's in the unfinished painting.
It's in the unfinished painting. It's not quite a photo, but still, it's an image of the crime scene recorded just before the murder. If only she'd finished it. Then I could be totally sure.
It's true she never finished it, but she did intend to finish it.
Meaning?
We know more about the painting than what Freya actually got down on the canvas.
Because of her brush and palette.
Freya prepared all the colors she was going to need before she started painting.
So, that yellow was definitely wanting to use on this sketch. So, the yellow paint was going to be used to paint this sketch of something sitting in the window.
The yellow paint was going to be used to paint the sketch of something sitting in the window.
Something in the window. Oh.
Something yellow that was sitting in the window. And we have a clue apparently that says we do know what something yellow that was sitting in the window. What could it be, Nico?
Well, my initial guess was the beetle, but if that's not it...
Something in that shape. So I'll look at the portrait again. That's your shape. Is there
Something yellow that's that shape. Wait. Go back.
anything of that shape that's in our clues?
The bird in the cage. One of its feathers is shaped just like it.
So, what does this mean?
This bird belongs to Penelope. So.
Hello, birdie.
That wasn't a pot. That wasn't a potted plant. That was the bird itself.
There she is. Our little thief.
How long has
So-
it been there?
So,
Keep going.
Did it hear the whole conversation?
She did,
Detective Grimoire!
but she's a very good listener.
Detective Hawkshaw, you mean?
I mean, yeah, sorry, Detective Hawkshaw. Hello, Detective Hawkshaw.
Well now, I think this has quite served its purpose, don't you?
Or should I say... Penelope Pointer!
Penny, why did you...
It's Penelope, if you don't mind. But before we begin, isn't there a certain formality demanding our attention?
Huh?
Well, what should
You
we do?
do this. You do
No,
this.
no, no. I'll allow you to do this. I'll allow you to do this.
Leave her untied.
I'm afraid I have to insist. It's to the benefit of us all, I assure you.
I'll use the
Lovely. Now, tell me, what was it that drove you this far? I'm ever so curious.
I just want to say I just want both justice for... This is all true. For me. But what is number one for you?
What was the question again?
Why did you push this far? Did you just want to know the truth? Did you want to help Freya's friends? Or did you do it for Freya?
Yeah. For me, it probably would have been the truth.
I just need to know the truth.
Is that right? Interesting.
Why did you do it, Penny? What did Freya do to you?
Absolutely nothing.
So, what? You just hated her indiscriminately?
Freya Fellow was an inspiration to us all. She was possessed of a great energy, the volition to create something from nothing, the willpower to walk beyond her boundaries. She was truly free. Everything I couldn't be.
You know what? I just realized I actually have no idea who Penelope Pointer really is.
Weird, isn't it? Considering we've met her, 3 times now?
Exactly. How do we know this one isn't a disguise too?
You think you've already hollowed us out, don't you? Only a few short hours at Tangle Tower, and you feel like you've got everyone sussed. Unearthed every single one of our secrets. Nothing but bullet points for your notebook. Go on, indulge me. What does it say in your notes about Penelope Pointer?
At least that's what I want to say. She's a fucking murderer. You're the fucking one who murdered freaking Freya. But, and additionally, she is lonely, and she is a mystery. So which one do you want to say?
The bird did belong to Penelope, though, so it makes sense that Penelope is a murderer. I say a mystery.
I suppose I can't argue with that, can I?
Penny, we only know what you choose to tell us, so why not help us out?
Very well. Penelope Pointer is actually not very important at all. She pales in comparison to those who came before her and to those that came after. Living at Tangle Tower, it is very difficult to attain the levels of self-realization you probably take for granted.
You sure this is a Tangle Tower thing, and not a you thing?
Perhaps you didn't notice. Not one of them is happy, not one.
So why stay? Why not just leave?
I thought she did leave. Penny, you said you traveled, didn't you?
I did. Many times I've walked away. It did not help me. You saw the family tree hanging in the grand hall, did you not?
Yeah, it lists a bunch of people who don't live here anymore.
A bunch of people who don't live here anymore. I couldn't have put it better myself. My mother, for one. My father, too. The other two Remingtons. Poppy's mother, Primrose. And her brother, Richard.
And Fitz's father.
That's 5. 5 people that might have lived here, but don't.
And that was the first question I wanted answered.
You wanted to know where they'd all gone?
More than that, I wanted to know if I belonged with them. I have no place here. Not among the Fellows, the Remingtons, or the Pointers. But I felt there must be a reason why everyone else left. Some common purpose they all shared. Perhaps it could be my purpose too.
So, what did you actually do about it?
Nothing I could do, at first. Nobody would tell me anything. The more questions I asked, the fewer answers I got. Then, I found it. I was 19. Same age Freya is now.
Found what?
The study.
Yep.
The study. The one hidden in the middle of the house. It's right next to a bedroom.
I'd hear voices at night. Deep ones. And the strangest thing, the wall behind my bed would get incredibly hot. For hours on end. The paint would peel. Wallpaper wouldn't stay up. I thought I was cursed. I thought it was something trying to break through. Eventually, I couldn't take it anymore. I found my way in the same way you did. Once you know it's there, it's simple.
So, you got into the study and found the incinerator. That must have been a relief, right?
It was still warm when I found it. Then, I looked inside. Let's see how thorough you've been. Tell me, do you know what a misted is?
Misted?
Yeah, I know what a misted is. We both know, right?
Yep.
Mistids? Sure, yeah.
You're more observant than I thought.
Sorry, what are we talking about?
It's a collective term from before my time. Birds, insects, amphibians, anything living off the lake water. The mutation can take several generations, or it can happen overnight.
Wait, mistids, like cryptids, like Bigfoot or whatever.
A little egregious, isn't it? I suspect that was an intentional parallel. The main difference being mistids are perfectly real. They're just kept secret. Or at least, that was the original plan. As it happened, some got out. Quite a few got out.
How do you know all this?
When I entered the study at 19, I found a single object that rather changed my life. Something which answered my questions while at once creating all new ones.
Something Penny found in the study that answered her questions. The group photo. That was the only thing in the study in this. That would make sense.
Okay.
The 5 missing family members standing together as a single unit, calling themselves the ambassadors of Misted Mansion.
So, the house was renamed from Misted Mansion to Tangle Tower?
And rightly so. The age of Misted Mansion is long past. When I looked inside the incinerator on my first visit to the study, I found nothing but ash. The afterimage of a bygone era denied to me in its entirety. The study, the room at the bottom of the lake itself, all empty shells. I felt my only hope lay with the ambassadors. If I could find them, maybe they'd share the family history that Flora and the others were trying so hard to forget.
How did you track them down?
It was tough. They'd taken almost everything. Books, maps, charts, the creatures themselves, all lost, taken away or destroyed. But I got lucky. I got a lead. I found one, and he led me to the rest.
And? What happened? Why'd you paint out all their faces?
They didn't help you either, did they?
19-year-old me had imagined they'd all left with a mission, a unified purpose, but they hadn't. They were, in fact, every bit as fractured as the people that still live here. Most of them had left tracking escaped mystics. Some claimed to be researchers, others little more than hunters. All 5, completely useless to me.
Even your own parents?
Oof.
Eventually, I returned to Tangle Tower. I had nowhere else to go. Considered giving up. But instead, I made a decision. There was only one person at Tangle Tower still of interest to me. My dear Uncle Pointer had suddenly made a show of taking up astronomy. A fairly superficial charade. I don't think many people were fooled by it. But I knew it wasn't just a falsehood. It was a mask. Pointer had found something from the era of Misted Mansion.
The golden beetle.
So where did he get the beetle?
I cannot be sure, but I theorize that he received it in the post.
In the post? From who?
Who can say? Someone outside Tangle Tower.
Maybe Freya's brother, Richard Remington.
But the thought that he would be in contact with such a person, all that time, I decided to take what was owed to me.
So you stole it.
Stealing the beetle turned out to be only the first step. Upon realizing it was gone, Pointer made little effort to disguise his frustration. I asked what was bothering him. He foresaw no risk in sharing a little of the truth with his niece. He told me he'd lost a rare treasure, something he'd been keeping safe. I suggested, innocently, that perhaps it was not lost. Perhaps it had been stolen. He was very ready to believe he'd been the victim of theft. When I offered to call in a private detective, he jumped on the idea. She arrived the next day. Hawkshaw prides herself on her punctuality, as you know.
Why, though? Why go through all that? The name, the costume, and everything?
It's somewhat sad to admit, but I had little use left for Penny Pointer as she was. Hawkshaw afforded me new advantages, opportunities.
But didn't you have to pretend to be working for Professor Pointer?
Well, that was one of the advantages. Pointer was in such a desperate state, he was finally willing to share some of his secrets. On the second day, Hawkshaw explained she needed to be able to search the secret laboratory. Pointer gave in and gave me the code for the harp statue. Reluctantly, but still.
So, you stole Pointer's research?
I would have done, if I'd found anything worth stealing. But he had made remarkably little progress, barely scratching the surface of the beetle's true mystery.
Which is?
She carries an exoskeleton approximately 90% identical to gold. But it's not the 90% I'm interested in. Did you ever question what exactly makes the water here so unique? Before Misted Mansion was built over the lake, before the lake was even a lake, Lord Remington and his wife built a small structure here, a research station, supposedly. Fast forward 2 or 3 generations, and as you saw for yourself, it's been mostly cleared out.
The ambassadors took everything when they left.
And everything they didn't take was burned in the incinerator. However, possessing additional insight, I found something the others had missed. It's not much, but I have what I need.
So, why isn't this the end of the story? Why did you stay? Why did you kill Freya?
The will of Freya Fellow. Yeah, we're going longer. We're hitting the 10-minute mark, but we're going. We're finishing this.
Simply put, Freya was too good for me. It's my fault. I pushed her over the edge, unknowingly, but still, I take the blame.
What are you talking about?
Did you know I based the design for Hawkshaw on something Freya painted?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely know that.
That's right. I had assumed it was purely abstract. I just thought it had a good energy. I later discovered it was a figure of some kind, something from Freya's recurring nightmare. For all her vitality, I think Freya was probably the most troubled of all of us. She was desperate to leave Tangle Tower, but she couldn't just walk away. For quite some time, she'd been trying to break into Pointer's laboratory. Freya and her friends were halfway through deciphering those symbols on the harp statue, I believe.
Why did she care about getting into Pointer's lab?
That's exactly what I wondered. At first, I thought perhaps she just wanted to free the beetles. She has a fondness for them. What Pointer was doing upset her significantly. But in fact, I think it was something else. I think she wanted to free Fiona.
Oh.
The real reason Freya was unable to leave Tangle Tower is that she could not get Fiona to agree to come with her. We're now firmly in the realm of speculation, but I think Freya felt that exposing the darker secrets of Tangle Tower, not just to the rest of the family, but to the world, would compromise all 3 families, and perhaps, somehow, free Fiona from the shackles of her inheritance. That was her plan anyway, but something happened. Before Freya could find her way into Pointer's laboratory.
She found her way into your study, found your notes, found that photograph. I'm willing to bet she put it all together quicker than we did.
So she worked out what had happened to the 5 ambassadors. Specifically, what you'd done to them when they refused to help you.
Freya
Damn.
had made a promise to paint Flora as a birthday gift, a parting gift no less. She'd be in a locked room, several hours away from her friends. It was my best chance.
But why hide in the attic? And why bother with the beetle at all?
The beetle in the gramophone wasn't for Freya. It was for Flora. She didn't deserve to be involved. She suffered enough. I couldn't get Flora out of her room, but if she could be unconscious, then she wouldn't have to witness anything.
Why the knife? The illusion of the painted knife with the blood.
That was for Fiona. And Poppy too, I suppose. Gave them something to focus on.
You mean it distracted them while you made your escape?
It helped them cope. The very idea of something abstract, something supernatural. I believe it made things marginally less painful for them, initially. Worked on you, too.
So why are you still here? Why not take your first chance and leave?
Ah, well, I've been waiting for an opportunity to get my beetle back. I'd really rather not leave without it.
Wait, it's still here?
It's still inside the gramophone.
Bad bird. Bad.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Well, fuck.
Damn it.
What's going on?
Poppy, they are both awake.
I can see.
You two all right?
My head hurts. What happened to us?
You were both unconscious. 14 minutes by my count.
Really?
You're both fine. No injuries.
Was it the beetle? In the gramophone? I heard it through the ceiling in my room.
The exact same sound we heard before the murder.
I guess it must have been.
So how did we get down here? What happened to Penny?
Fit saved both of you, obviously.
When I reached Flora's tower, you were both unconscious, and Penny was crouched down beside you. She had her crossbow on her, but who knows? She may have just been checking you were both asleep.
Did you know that she was the murderer?
Poppy and Fifi suspected her. Apparently, they were pretty close to solving it themselves.
Fitz did not want to believe us, because he liked Penny. A lot.
But what happened? Fitz, what did she do when she saw you?
She jumped out the window.
What? Did she survive?
She did.
I heard something land in the garden outside my room, but by the time I got out there to check, she was already gone.
Hang on. Poppy, why do you have Penny's hat bird?
She left him behind. I found him sitting on the floor in the aviary, all by himself. Poor little thing. The mean lady didn't care about you at all, did she? No, she didn't.
I apologize.
Just a hat.
Poppy seems to be under the illusion that the bird can understand human language.
So, Penny got away.
I'm afraid she did.
We had suspected she might try to escape. I was stationed here by the lake's edge. I proved to be an ineffective guard. She took the boat.
Did she take the beetle with her?
Nope,
How do you know?
because it's right here.
It was still in the gramophone. I guess I scared her off before she had a chance to take it.
Poppy, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to give it back to your father?
No, I'm not. It doesn't belong to anyone. So, I'm going to put it on the ground and never bother it again. I think that's what she would have wanted.
And that is Tangle Tower, everyone.
So, Penelope went through the effort of being in two places at once. She would have had to rush back between being Hawkshaw and Penelope as you made your way up and down.
Yep.
Huh? How though? Like, she would have had to run right by you just to be Penelope and then run back down fast enough to be Hawkshaw.
She's that good.
But the layouts of the quote-unquote mansion just doesn't allow it so easily to go between the aviary and the...
Well, I mean, it's open, so all she would need to do is climb up. So good.
Man, my
Then we have
brain's
the art
blown.
gallery.
One thing I'm still bothered about, though, we still never did finish questioning Flora Fellow about the rest of the family. There was still a few left.
Yeah, I
But
will
that's
say.
that's only for an OCD thing. I don't think it would have led to anything, but it still
Yeah,
would have
no.
been nice to have just heard like what both Grimoire and Sally would have said when they questioned her about the rest of our
And you get
family.
an
I should say.
achievement. You get an achievement for talking about everyone as well as showing everyone all the evidence.
Yeah.
So, that is a thing.
Cool.
Alright,
And I believe that is the end.
that is the end. Oh my gosh, that means next time you see us, or me, Nico might not be there, we'll see.
We'll see.
We will be playing the demo of the Mermaid Mask. Let us
Wait,
hope
is
that
that-
we finally get some answers to see when that game is coming out.
Mermaid Mask, is that the sequel to this?
Yep, that is the next game.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm kind of
Very.
invested in this.
Yeah. So, please, like, comment, and subscribe so you guys can see more. And we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Never gonna wake up.